And we are still in winter, but like Dan just mentioned, we are seeing some record temperatures right now. And Sydney, you've been looking into the dangers of the heat.
That's right, Christina, and a professor of physiology and kinesiology at Penn State, Dr. Larry Kinney, spoke about the dangers of the heat in regard to our health. Let's take a look. When does hot become too hot?
A change of a couple degrees Fahrenheit in the average Earth's temperature doesn't have much of an effect on human health directly. It's the extremes that really are dangerous. So we'll have more hot days and more extremely hot days.
Dr. Larry Kinney from Penn State went into detail on how organizations can protect their workers from the heat. One to note is the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health.
NIOSH has published and has updated what they call criteria for a recommended standard for occupational exposure to hot jobs. And so there's a lot of good information available, for example, on work rest cycles, depending on how hard people are working and how hot and humid the environment is.
Unfortunately, the criteria is only a recommendation for the standard and not the standard itself. With school in session and sports in season, coaches must be aware of how to keep their athletes safe.
Coaches in particular should be knowledgeable, first and foremost, about the impact of conditions of high heat and humidity and dehydration on athletes. Most of the athletes who succumb to heat-related disorders do so during the first few days of training for their sport.
Coaches should also monitor how much their athletes hydrate and the timing of their workouts. People often ask if the heat index is a good measurement of how hot it feels. Dr. Kinney has an answer.
The problem with using the heat index for human health and safety is that the heat index is a perceptual index. It's truly a question of how hot we feel, not the effects of that heat and humidity on the human body.
There are better methods to measure the heat and how people's bodies are affected, but the most important thing is to prioritize your health and listen to your body. In Midland, I'm Sydney Jolivet, News West 9.